Hey everyone. Um, in my last video I said that I was going to talk about my experiences with sexual abuse. So that's what this video is for. And I apologize if it's hard for me to get out. And if it's kind of long. I don't know how long this one's going to be, but you know, just bear with me. When I was about 12, I was in 6th grade. I was sexually abused by two brothers who were in their 30s. And there was a trial. I did testify. But the case was dropped because the DA felt that I kept changing my story. And it wasn't that I was changing my story. It was the fact that I had suppressed the memories because I didn't want to deal with them. I just wanted them to go away. That when I had to talk about things, different things would surface. So, unfortunately, that case never went anywhere. But, thankfully, a few years later, one of the brothers actually had, an underage girlfriend who he beat, put her in the hospital, and sexually abused her. And he did receive justice. He went to jail. Thank God. The other brother, I really don't know what happened to him. I really don't care. But at least one of them got what they deserved. And that wasn't the first time that they had sexually abused women, or girls rather. I mean, she was like 16. And my mother had dated this guy, and he had a son, and his son came up to visit, and he tried to have sex with me. And I freaked out. And he was like, "Oh, don't say anything to your mother. Don't say anything, don't say anything. If you do, I'll deny it." And about a week later, I had to tell my mother because it was bothering me so much. And I told her. And come to find out, he lived in New York. That's where he had come from. And he was accused of rape in New York. I don't know what happened with that. I don't know, but he was accused of rape in New York. And I think he came here to where I live to get away from that. I don't know. And then his father. Now, mind you, with what was going on, in my head, I was thinking, the only thing I am good for is sex. The only way men treat women is through something sexual. This is how I was thinking. Like, I didn't know that men could actually have a conversation with a woman and it not be sexual. Like, I didn't know that existed. I thought the only way that men responded to women was through sexual acts. And then his father, my mother's boyfriend at the time. My grandmother was sick. She was dying of cancer. My mother was working. And it was him and I, watching over my grandmother. And, we were trying to, lighten our spirits, lighten the mood. We were playing games, we were having fun. I put on some music. We started dancing, having a good old time. Excuse me. And then he decides to pick me up. He brings me into my bedroom. He lays me down on my bed. And he puts his head, like, sideways on my pelvic area. I'm totally freaked out. And I'm just kind of laying there. I stiffened up and my hand started shaking. And I'm just like, what are you doing? And he quickly lifted his head, got up, and he said, don't say anything to your mother. And went out of the room. I stayed in my room the rest of the day until my mother got home from work. I told her what happened. She had a conversation with him, and they broke up because of this. Because it was just like, who knows what would have happened if they had stayed together. She had a conversation with him. He said to her that he was testing what kind of a girl I was. He wanted to know what I would do in a situation like that because of what had happened to me in the past. I don't understand how a grown man in his 40s can think that a 13-year-old girl, or however old I was, would even contemplate having sex or doing something sexual with my mother's boyfriend. Like what kind of a girl I was, I think that really showed more of what kind of a man he was. Then when I was 16, we let my uncle move in with us. He had just had gotten a divorce from his wife. He needed a place to stay. We let him stay. He was family. You're supposed to help your family. A few months into him living with us, he started asking me questions. Like, do I have any single friends? Now I'm 16. My single friends would be about my age, give or take a year. I was very uncomfortable with this, and I told him, please don't ask me these questions. I don't think it's appropriate. And then, I had friends over one time, and after they had left, he was like, oh, do you think that one would have sex with me? She was so hot, blah, 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 blah. Creepy stuff. Creepy, creepy stuff. And then, a little while after that, one night I was in my bed, I was sleeping. And I started having this sexual dream. People have sexual dreams. It happens, it's natural. But what was causing the sexual dream was not natural. I woke up to my uncle having sex with me in my bed. I was totally freaked out. I told him, don't ever come near me again. Ever. He didn't care. For the next 4 months, whenever he felt like it, he would come into my room while I was sleeping and start touching me or having sex with me or whatever. God knows what he did. I would always wake up to him doing something. And I was so scared and ashamed and embarrassed to tell my mother, because that was her brother. I thought, oh my God, what if I tell her and she doesn't believe me and she thinks it's my fault? And I thought, what if she does believe me and she thinks it's my fault? I did finally tell her. And I'm so glad that I did, because that nightmare stopped. I mean, the physical nightmare stopped. But because of that, I suffered night terrors, nightmares, PSTD symptoms. They were really, really, really bad after it first happened. And I never wanted to talk to anybody about it. I never wanted to go to counseling because I couldn't talk about it. It hurt too much. It hurt too much because of that, my family doesn't talk to me. They think it's my fault. They think I enticed him or whatever, because he told them that I caught him at a weak moment. He told my family that it was my fault. That I did this. That I did it. I didn't do anything other than be scared and not know what to do. And I've suffered because of it. And there was a trial with him. But he didn't, because of the laws in the state that I live in, the way that they are, they couldn't really get him for rape because I was of consensual age. And they went after incest, but because of the way the laws are, it pretty much, helped him. So if I was 15, he was given 10 years in jail. That would have stuck for 10 years. But because of my age, the judge reduced his sentence to 2 days in jail and 10 years probation. And that 10 years is almost up. And I think that is why I am having such a hard time right now. I think that's why I'm having the dreams. I'm having all these symptoms come up. It's because I'm afraid of him being able to come near me, because for 10 years he wasn't able to come near me, or he would have to serve his sentence in jail. But after the 10 years is up, there's nothing to protect me. And I'm scared. I'm scared of what would happen if I ever saw him again. I don't know what I would do. And this is very difficult. Very difficult. But that's why my doctor wants me to do the EMDR to help with these symptoms, to help with, help with coping and everything like that. And, I am in counseling now, and, so hopefully this will help. I haven't started it yet. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they're going to have me start it right away or not. But that's my experience, my experiences. It was very difficult to talk about. But I think that talking about it, even if it is on camera, it's a start. It definitely is. The only way I know to conquer a problem is to tackle it head on and go right through it. So that's what I'm doing. Hopefully my next video will be upbeat, something more pleasant. So thanks for watching.